Ooh, what's going on? We are live. At least I hope so. Look at this lighting. Always when I check my lighting on the QuickTime player, it shows me it's a lot lighter, and then on the YouTube stream, it's apparently a lot darker. I hope the sound at least is alright. I try to get the lighting situation fixed. Ooh, that looks a lot better. Well, now it's very, very, very sharp light, huh? Maybe I can put it a little bit more to the back. Yeah, something like this. Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta admit I'm a little bit nervous. Hopefully I didn't get out of the flow too much during this little post-Christmas, post-New Year's rest of the live stream. As you can see, we have a little bit of a new setup here. We're sitting below the wonderful Beastmaker, below the wonderful finger strength gains tool. Some beautiful guitars in the back and everything. So I hope this works out. Give me some feedback as usual. If there are some people there already, give me some feedback how the audio quality is, how is the video quality. Hopefully everything is all right. We're gonna go with the usual style. It's the first stream in 2021. Can you believe it? 2021, man. I mean, I still remember the time actually when 2000 was a thing. I was 10 years old. I was born in 1990. Yeah, so 2000 was a thing. And of course, I mean, being a millennium, 2000, that sounded really futuristic, right? But for some reason, this 2021 date, that sounds just super futuristic. All of a sudden, it feels like we are in some sort of science fiction film, huh? Isn't it? That's kind of interesting. Andreas Krüger says, setup looks good. Amazing. Yeah, hopefully everything is all right. Let me know if it's not. Let me know if it is as well. Yeah, because again, we're rocking a little bit of a new setup here. Everything should be fine. I tried my best to arrange everything perfectly. So I thought, since it's such an interesting time, maybe we can recap 2020 a little bit. Matt Baird says, "Hi Manny, what's up, Matt? Welcome to the stream." Andreas Krüger, welcome to the stream. How is the quality? I hope it's good. If you're here already, also drop a like on the stream. Maybe a few more people see it that way. It's good for the algorithms. You know the deal. Yeah, that would be very appreciated. Thanks in advance. I've got my little list here. I'm definitely a list guy. Okay, if I don't write something on a list, and I'm pretty sure to forget it. Lists are also really good to get things done, by the way. So if you're struggling with motivation, doing things, to-do lists is the unbeaten strategy for this kind of stuff. Okay, and then you get a pen and you tick off your points, and you start with easy ones, right? You get up in the morning. Ideally, you have written your to-do list already the evening before, and you wrote down, brush your teeth, wash your face, go to the loo, go to the toilet. Okay, simple stuff like that. And then you simply do that in the morning, and then you can go to your to-do list, and the first thing you can do is you can tick off those boxes, and this will get you into the flow, man. And all of a sudden, you're seeing yourself scripting a new video, you're doing a new voiceover, whatever it is, whatever you're passionate about, and you get things done that way. So lists are really important. The reason why I have this list here is, well, first of all, there's a couple of video ideas on this list, which is why I can't disclose it here now, because otherwise I would spoil a couple of videos for the main channel. But also, I've written down a couple of things, a couple of points that I wanted to talk about in context with 2020. That's what happens in my life, at least. Yeah, this is 2020 from my perspective. And it all started out with this really early in the year. I had a project. It's called Dirty 30, which was just such a fitting project for me, man. I mean, I had a lot of boulder power from projecting Modus Elector, which was my first 8C Plus that I sent the previous year, 2019, at the end of this year, actually. And it shared the same exit with this 8C. supposed 8C. It only had the first ascent by Armin Buchreutner, actually, and no other ascent yet. This ascent was maybe 10 years ago or something, yeah. So I got on this route, getting super close really quickly because I had the boulder power still from projecting mode selector, right? And I'm getting beyond the crux like 2-3 times in this amazing session, good conditions. And what happens next attempt? I rip out this freaking hold, man. It was the video that I called my scariest rock climbing fall so far, right? Where I ripped out this huge jug out of this roof. And it was such a close call, just so much luck involved. It was really, I was watching the video myself and thought, man, this was divine intervention, man. We've been talking about going to Greece all the time during this period, and the only thing that has really held us back from making the move was this route, was this project. I wanted to get this project done before we do it, because when we would come back, it would be too hot for it. I couldn't finish it, and I had to wait next autumn, yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. So I ripped out this freaking hole, and I knew this was the signal, man. This was the signal to leave. Yeah, this was the signal to go. The climbing gods gave me the okay, gave me the green lights, and we packed the caddy, bro. And on the same day, actually, in the evening on the same day, we started the journey to Greece. Yeah, cruising through the Balkans over a period of 1 to 2 weeks, as far as I remember. During the way down, we already could feel the impact of the big sea, as you might know. Already back home, we could kind of anticipate that something was coming up there. Still not anticipating that it would be such big of a deal, but in the end, we were super lucky because we caught the hop from Albania to Greece. Just the last weekend, the borders were open. Yeah, so this was another close call. This was also super lucky. Hopping over to Greece on Saturday, I think. Blooming life, happy people, celebrating life on the promenades in Ioannina, which is a city in the north of Greece, actually. People were happy. People were going out, having fun. And after this weekend was over, there was a lockdown in Greece, actually. So it went from 100% to 0, essentially, exactly on that weekend where we entered the country. So yeah, we lived our secret life in the van, so to say, moving down further south to our end destination, which was Leonidio, of course. Not going into restaurants, not going into anything, basically just staying in the car and maybe visiting the one or the other climbing area on the way down. Yeah, for us, not so much in terms of lifestyle change. It was actually pretty great times. I liked it a lot. Got some outdoor climbing in, no people really, nobody there. And then arriving in Leonidio, where things were still relatively normal, I must say. And then having, the possibility to be there and spend, so to say, the lockdown there with not so strict regulations and everything, that was, I suppose it was quite lucky that we were there during this quite tense time, I must say. And then we came back after 3 months because my girlfriend, Mona, was pregnant during this time, right? It was still in the early phase of the pregnancy, but towards the end of the trip, it was already getting quite close to the delivery date, right? We only had like 2 or 3 months left or something. So we started planning the trip back. And what happens is sooner and soon, time after time, borders opened up again, right? I remember when Bulgaria opened up again, and Serbia and Croatia and all these countries, which are quite important for the connection between Greece and Austria, because there is actually a big highway going through these countries, and they opened up for travelers to go back home, which is what we did at some point, right? We came back home and got the baby and everything. Becoming a dad, man, this is another big thing of 2020. Super interesting stuff, super interesting stuff. So many new experience points, man. So many new experience points, and still it is exciting every day to see the development, what she's learning, the new stuff she's learning. And now she's picked up a new thing, She does always the Superman planks now. I mean, can you imagine? Somehow this somehow this is her progression towards crawling, I guess. So she straight arms, straight legs, upper body in the air. I mean, she's still quite light for her age and everything, so I suppose for her it's a little bit easier. But I don't know, man. It looks just super, super hard, actually. Yeah, super body strength there going on. Body strength divided by body weight is just amazing, obviously, in this individual. So she's Superman planks like 20 seconds in the meantime. Now she's already a bit beyond this. I actually made a video, and I'm considering posting that on my main channel. So something like freaks of strength, Superman plank at 5 months of age or something like that, but without showing her face, of course. Like, but it's just so interesting to see what's possible actually at such a young age already. Yeah. But anyway, so that's her thing now. She does these planks, and now she's already beyond that a little bit again. So she puts her leg forward, right, when she's in the air like that. So I should suppose she's quite close to crawling around already. She's now almost 6 months of age, right? I think actually in 2 days, she's 6 months. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine how fast time is flying by? A lot of people tell you that once you got kids, time really speeds up, right? It kind of goes double as fast as before, and it seems to be true. Yeah, which is only, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because you're watching the progression that you yourself did at some point again, right? But this time you're sticking in this older body. You can only remember how boring everything was when you were that age, because your time perception when you're this young is completely different. Everything is much slower if you're that young, right? Everything becomes so boring so quickly when you're that young. A half an hour car ride is just a pure horror at that age. Today, half an hour car ride is nothing, right? So anyway, this is also really interesting, I found. Another big milestone of 2020, man. So yeah, we have that. Obviously, after we got the baby, I made a big rest from climbing. I've talked about this on the main channel as well. 3 months without climbing. I did videos despite that from time to time, just talking or doing my lawn stuff, I'm making funny recipe videos and stuff like that. And then came the big comeback, right? The big comeback battle plan. And I tell you something, man, this plan is actually still ongoing. It's still ongoing. The gains are amazing. Obviously, also because of the beautiful home wall up there, right? I mean, this is just an amazing training tool. I've never seen something like this before. The gains are, definitely significant. I hope to be able to prove some more of these this power in the near future. Problem is the weather. Yeah, now it's really cold in Austria. Yeah? A lot of snow, very moist conditions. If anything is possible, then outdoor bouldering, right? But we're gonna see. Maybe we find a new project real soon, and then I can show you something. Yeah, would be amazing. We moved. I hit the mark of 500 YouTube videos. Can you imagine? 500 freaking YouTube videos, man. I think now we're at 530 already or something. And yeah, building the home wall. What a struggle, man. Have you seen Letty's Boy's latest video? Now they bring out a freestanding home wall and stuff like that. And it appears to be the case that I have just a beautiful space for a thing like that in this new flat, right? But now obviously it's too late. Now I already built my own home wall. They could have spared me a lot of work maybe when they came out with that thing maybe 2-3 months earlier. But I get that, something like this probably takes a lot of development, and that was a pretty smart move from them, man, because obviously a lot of people are needing a home wall right now. All gyms are closed, right? There's lockdown gains everywhere around the world. So yeah, it's definitely a smart move by them to bring this out now. Yeah, and one point, and here I can actually take the list and put it aside. One point is still missing, man. One point. I mean, this could have been the perfect year. Ooh, I think Mona is coming out because she was putting the little one to bed. So we gotta be a little bit quiet here for a short time. Okay, I think we made it. So one thing was still missing from this almost perfect year, and this was the 9A, of course. Yeah, the 9A. I mean, I had to set priorities there, right? I wanted to be there for my family and stuff like that. So this is also something that's very important, right? Uh, all things become relative in this aspect. So postponing this whole 9A project was, it was not a big sacrifice for me. However, it's now 2021. And the gains have arrived. The gains have arrived, and they are still arriving every day, man. On the home wall, it just goes as good as never before. Recently, I got new holes for my home wall, some underclings, by a really cool Polish hold maker, actually. I'm going to feature them in a future upcoming home wall episode. And the boulders are just amazing. They're super hard. I sanded these underclings a little bit individually, how I like them, and I just hit them spot on. I think they are super hard to hold as well. And underclings were still missing on this wall quite a bit. So now the wall is really very complete. We've got pockets, we've got underclings, we've got edges, pinches, everything. Yeah, everything there. And we've got amazing boulders. So I'm gonna, you know the deal. I'm gonna feature them in another upcoming home wall episode. So you're gonna see what's up. And I also managed to do the sloper boulder now on both sides, which is another interesting thing. The symmetrical aspect of the sloper boulder is interesting because one side was around two grades easier than the other. So my one-sidedness is definitely a big thing. But yeah, anyway, so this is what's going on here in 2020, what has been going on in 2020, and what's still going on in 2021, man. I've got my eyes still on target. And we are actually, although it might not seem like that, but I think I'm closer to this whole 9A thing than I was ever before. Because power-wise, I mean, once you climb 8A plus, right, boulder, you should be able to climb 9A because theoretically, 9As don't have much more harder single moves than an 8A plus boulder. But anyway, the greater problem at this point is rather finding a project, because the project that I had in mind is quite far away now. It's probably also wet. It's also too cold. So we got to find something new, But we will, and then we will attack. I can see that the chat is already filling up a little bit, so it's gonna be, let's see, livestream receptacle. We're rocking the Erdinger today, which is a really beautiful livestream receptacle. Look at this. Homie Contact is back on the stream. What's up, man? How are you doing? Hi, Manny. Missed you. Yeah, man, I missed the stream as well. But it was also good to take a break. By the way, I timestamped in an incredible effort the day after, day before yesterday and yesterday. I timestamped all the live streams, the 3 previous live streams, I think, which were without timestamps. I timestamped them now. So if you want to take a look at those, if you maybe didn't check them out, so eagerly as you usually do because you missed the timestamps, now they're there and you can scroll through and see if there's something on them what interests you. Pickle Rick says, what do you think of the COVID vaccine? starting the stream right away with a very touchy subject, maybe I will talk a little bit about it in a later, when I'm getting a little bit more into the flow of answering questions, okay? So we can talk a bit. I talked about it previously in previous streams, as you might know, but I can talk about it again if you so want, maybe a little later. Matt Baird says, Matt Baird, I think you were on the stream as well already at some point, right? It's not a new name. I broke my foot. Damn, that's pity to hear. I have top roped a bit, and I'm concerned I'm ingraining bad technique habits, campusing a lot. What do you think? Great quality, by the way. Thanks for the feedback, Matt. No, not at all. I climbed for a significant time when I broke my ankle, when I broke my talus bone, which is actually a pretty bad injury. I think I climbed one-legged for about 2 months with a cast on my left foot, and could only, do one-legged swings all the time, only step with one leg. When I was jumping down the bouldering wall, I could only land on one foot. Didn't hurt my technique at all. What was definitely significant was that once I got the cast off, I didn't have the accuracy anymore. Yeah. Ooh, we woke up a little bit. I think something went wrong there. Hopefully everything is okay. Yeah, but anyway, so I was kind of having this accuracy disbalance, right? The right leg was very accurate because I was using. Okay. Nothing really bad happened apparently, but maybe she had a bad dream or something. Yeah, this happens. So yeah, but anyway, right foot had accuracy, left foot was incredibly inaccurate. And there I could feel for the first time, which is something that we are accustomed to as we climb a lot, right? The accuracy, it becomes kind of ingrained in our head and we don't really feel it anymore. But this is what a beginner actually goes through when they don't have still this stepping accuracy, right? They miss footholds all the time, they slip off footholds. And once we get more into that, we kind of lose that. But when you have a cast for 2 months on one foot, then you can expect that your accuracy of that foot going downhill incredibly. And once you get that cast off, her right leg will be much more accurate than the left leg. And this is what I could feel. Yeah. So, but you can't really prevent that. This is something that you have to live with if you want to train at all, if you have an injury like that. There's also quite a good option actually to make a bigger rest at all, yeah, and then come back, use the comeback wave, this kind of thing. Oui. Mike K. Mike K is here again from the Polish Jura. What's up, man? How are you doing? Great to have you back. How's the family? How's life? Well, the family is currently a little bit in the stress, as it seems. Apparently the little one had a bad dream or something. I don't know. She woke up and now it's a little bit. She's a little bit angry, as it seems. Yeah. Yeah, life is good. How's life? Life is definitely good. The gains keep coming, man. We continue developing the home wall. We set some new holes recently, created some new boulders. All the good stuff. All the good stuff, man. I wish I could go a little bit more on the outdoors. But the weather is quite bad. It's quite cold, and we've got a lot of snow here in Austria. Yeah? So it's quite moist and everything. Actually, if it's so cold, like below zero or at zero, which is, I don't know if you have seen my recent bouldering video outdoors of the Salamander Low. There it was actually -1 degrees. It was the coldest session that I ever had in my life. But of course, when it's so cold like that, it's actually pretty dry because the snow doesn't melt in these kind of conditions. So you've got this powdery snow, which doesn't really influence your climbing performance, apart from the fact that it's maybe laying on the top of the boulder and you can't top it out. But apart from that, the boulder is dry. You just have to get by with these super cold conditions, which is something that I'm not really used to. But yeah, trying my best. Life's good, definitely. Shoram says is back on the stream. What's up, man? How are you doing? Pickle Rick says, great to see you, by the way. Oh, great to have you on the stream, Pickle. Benedict Pabinger says, hi, Manny. I'm 198 centimeters. That's tall. 92 kilograms. And enjoy climbing. Do you think my height is an advantage or disadvantage? Greetings from Vienna. Vienna. Well, I can tell you that there is a number of occasions where I wish to be taller in climbing. However, this tall, 198, that's quite tall. Yeah, it's quite tall, and 92 kilograms, which is of course completely normal. Yeah, to be at that weight when you're this tall is also very heavy. Yeah, so I would when I answer people these questions, I always go with 176, 178 centimeters, or something along these lines. I think that this is the ideal height for climbing, paired with a very high ape index, like something +5, +8-ish or something. This is pretty much the stature of Torsten. Yeah, if you've seen Torsten in my a little bit older climbing videos, the guy that I was climbing with outdoors a lot back then, and he will be featured on the channel, I think, quite soon again, but that's a different story. Torsten, he kind of has this stature. He has the perfect climbing body, I think. Yeah, so quite a little bit taller than I am, with more ape index than I have. I also made an ape index comparison between me and Torsten, if you want to check it out. This is, I think, the ideal stature. So you are definitely on the taller end of that, but no problem. Yeah, look at guys like Jan Hoyer and stuff. So you can be extremely strong at a tall height and the heavier weight, yeah, supposedly. But it's of course harder a little bit, because I think it is harder to get this finger strength divided by body weight value when you're this tall and this heavy. What you have to do is you have to just simply skip the small holds. Yeah, skip the freaking small holds. Make big moves. Don't go for the lady beta. Yeah, go for the big moves. Skip the small holds and climb the hard routes and boulders that way. There's enough problems out there where this is possible. Yeah. So depends on what you're climbing, whether it's an advantage or a disadvantage. Make the best of it. Mike K has a question for you right off the bat. UK has finally exited the EU. Now it's for real. What do you think of it? It's gonna join the ranks of Switzerland and Norway now. Norway? I think Norway is in the EU, right? But maybe they have their own currency. But anyway, what do I think of it? Well, it's really a paper thing, right? I must say I don't care too much because it doesn't influence my lifestyle at all. But what I can see is that they already made a treaty, right? A trade treaty and stuff like that. So yeah, it's what can I say? It's is it really significant? Is it a significant change to the situation as it was beforehand? You would have to ask a UK citizen in this case, right? For a UK citizen, does the life change significantly? Does their lifestyle change significantly? Probably depends on the job, right? I mean, if you're a truck driver, for example, I think your life does change significantly because you've got quite a lot more bureaucracy to do when you cross the border. Stuff like this, for example. But for the general population, I don't really see the difference there. Probably there is something, yeah. But for myself, I must say I don't feel any changes whatsoever. And this is always what I go first. What I go after when I have to judge these things. Is my lifestyle changing significantly, right? This is what I'm orienting myself about when whether I care or not, so to say. But yeah, I mean, they had a referendum, so they had to do it. Now at least they did it on paper, right? So they executed that stuff, which was necessary according to the referendum, right? So the people of UK can still have their illusion of choice. That's a good move by them, yeah, to at least give them their will. Jordan Heller is back on the stream. What's up, man? How are you doing? Did I say that already? No, Jordan Heller. Shoreham says you the J names. The White Boys home wall is really expensive. 5,000 euros? What? 5,000 euros? Are you kidding me? This I gotta confirm. I'm sorry. Maybe I mean the website was down, I think, when I saw the video, so I couldn't check it out. This is actually the main point that I was interested in when I heard about this story, because I built my own home wall as well, and as you know, it cost around 400 euros. Yeah, so if now the white boys come out with a freestanding home wall and they charge 500 euros, well, and it would be a little bit, damn, I could have spared the effort and maybe got the white boys home wall right away, right? But if you tell me it's 5,000 euros, man, then I'm pretty happy that I built my own home wall. I just want to see if the website is still down. Let's check it out. New freestanding home climbing wall product review. Let's go. Yeah. Skip the ad. Wow, my laptop is a little slow at the moment, probably because we're running a live stream at the same time. For further details, visit our freestanding wall page on our website. Show me, white boys. Is it still down? It's a big question. Oops, looks like the page is lost. Okay, it's still down as it seems. I mean, 5,000 euros is a little bit much. Come on, 5,000 euros. I can buy a freaking van for that, convert it, and drive to Greece and have all the climbing I want, right? So that doesn't really match up. Okay, so let's see here. So at Rules 01, this is a new name. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Servus Mani, ich habe jetzt seit einigen Monaten leichte Schmerzen in meinem rechten Mittelfinger, wenn ich im Bereich des A3, A4 Druck ausübe. Beim Klettern habe ich jedoch keinerlei Schmerzen. Weiterklettern oder eine Pause einlegen? So this is the standard pulley pain injury question. Should I keep climbing? Should I not keep climbing? You should keep climbing, in my opinion. And you should do it below pain threshold. Yeah, below pain threshold. Don't stop completely, because if you do that and you will come back, the injury will come back. Yeah, you gotta keep up the stimulus to keep reminding the tissue what it is supposed to do, what it is supposed to be doing, which is getting stronger against that stimulus. Yeah. A lot of these people, they come to me with these questions. Elbow tendonitis, what do I have to do? Shoulder pain, what do I have to do? This or that pain, finger pain, lumbrical tear pain, whatever else is out there, all the beautiful things that you can do with climbing to ruin your body. Keep climbing below pain threshold. It is maybe contra-intuitive. Yeah, maybe it would be more intuitive to just keep resting, just rest it away, but it won't go away. That's the problem if you rest completely. Yeah, it's a different story, and I've said this previously as well. If you rip something apart completely, like if you rip your pulley apart completely, well, if you keep climbing, it will never heal. Yeah, which is not even necessarily a super bad thing. There's people ripping up their pulleys and never letting them heal, and now they have a little bit of their tendon comes a little bit further away from the bones, so to speak, because the pulleys are actually only there to keep the tendon at the bone, right? If we wouldn't have our pulleys and we would bend our finger, the tendon would come out like this, like a bow sinew, if that makes sense. So if it's ripped, then the tendon will come more out of the finger, so to speak. Yeah, but people live with that as well. The thing is also that these tendons, they give you quite a lot of range of motion in your finger. Yeah, so what they do is your muscles in your forearms only have to contract like this, yeah, which is not a lot, but your finger moves like this, which is a lot. This is a lot of range of motion. This is 10 centimeters of range of motion, while your muscle down there maybe contracts 3 centimeters or stuff like that. That's important, yeah, because this is why we have these pulleys, because they give us this dexterity, so to speak, in the hands. But anyway, even if you feel pain somewhere, yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is this structure that is problematic. The hands are extremely complex. There's a lot of nerves going on. There are a lot of blood vessels, a lot of tiny bones and structures, tendons, whatnot, joints. If something is swollen, well, then you can tell where the inflammation is, and then you can probably tell what kind of structure is hit by this injury. If nothing is swollen and stuff only hurts, listen to your body despite that, obviously. Never climb beyond pain threshold. But it's hard to tell, and this is always what you get when you go to the docs. The docs are gonna say, okay, this is the affected area, you gotta rest it completely, I give you this or that painkiller if you want. No, just simply don't take the freaking painkillers, keep climbing at below pain threshold and let it heal by itself. Climb it away is the way to go, as usual. Except something is ripped completely, then you could consider getting a surgery or resting completely until it grew together again, and then you can build up from there again. Mike K says, just to update you, climbing gyms are open in Poland. Wow. That's the exception, I think. There's restrictions for example on the number of people present, no organized group trainings, etc. But you can train. It's crucial as it's around minus 10 degrees outside, you mean? Okay, yeah. It's super cold, man. Super cold times here in Austria as well. I mean, we had, I think, minus 24 degrees just about a week ago or something. Super low temperatures, which was, I think, in some valleys in eastern Tyrol or something. It got really freaking cold, and there was actually also snow chaos and stuff like that. Doesn't really get reported a lot because doesn't fit into certain other stories. But cool that you got the opportunity at least to train. Matt Baird says, thanks for the super helpful feedback. I hope it helped, man. I hope it helped. Jean-Ram says, do you already plan climbing another 8B or 8B plus boulder? Yeah, that would be really cool. I still don't know really where it's going to happen. Maybe it's going to happen on the home wall, which would be a little bit of a bummer because obviously I can't confirm these grades then. Even if I would climb it outdoors at the moment, it would probably be a first ascent because in the area where I live at the moment, there are not that many 8Bs or 8B plus boulders. But maybe I'm missing something. Maybe someone can tell me where such a project could be found. But even if that's the case, I think I know a couple of lines which still wait for a first ascent and which could be around that grade. This would obviously be the next step of the progression. And I would probably do it now because it's super cold. Too cold for route climbing anyway, outdoors. So, this is going to be the next step of the comeback, so to say. I'm also relatively light at the moment. Usually I'm below 68, beyond a little bit higher than 67, a little bit heavier than 67 kilos, that is, which is significantly lighter than during the zero plant experiment, for example, which was like, I don't know, 1-2 months ago or something, where I was always around 69, 70 kilos. So that's another thing that's helping a lot, obviously, as well. But finger power is just amazing. Thanks to the home wall and thanks to the hangboard. By the way, speaking of the beautiful hangboard boy up here, we changed the hangboard strategy, which is something that I talked about previously as well. If you're plateauing with your approach on the hangboard, which is something that I did for some reason, I did it long enough now, the one-armed assisted pull-ups on the 15mm side edges. Just to be clear, it's actually these edges which I used for the assisted one-armers for the longest time now, and I was making quite constant gains up until a point where I arrived at 5 kilograms of assisting weight on the pulley system. to be able to do a one armor on these edges. And there I stayed, and I couldn't progress beyond that for like 2 weeks or something, 2-3 weeks, always doing a session here and there, trying to break through it, but I couldn't. Yeah, I must say also that the home wall sessions that I did during that time were quite intense, and I just didn't have so much, so much resources left to really push it hard on the hangboard, which supposedly is a good thing because the real climbing moves on the home wall are probably better for a training stimulus than the hangboard, right? Which is quite abstract. But anyway, we could not progress through the 5 kilograms of assisted weight. So what do I do now? I changed things up to repeaters. As I said, we switch up max hangs and repeaters all the time. Always until we plateau at one thing, then we hop back to the other thing until we get super injured, and then we're going to keep it easier for some time, right? Then we might know that we've pushed it to the next level. But anyway, now we're doing repeaters, and I do them on the 10 millimeter micros from the Beastmaker. The Beastmaker 10 mil micros I found are just amazing for repeaters for me. And my goal is that I want to go for 1 hour all the time. I start my first set, 7 seconds hanging, 3 seconds resting, times 6, and then I rest for 3 minutes. And then I do 7 seconds hanging, 3 times resting, times 6, but for the 3 fingers open on my 2 centimeter radius edges, which I built myself. Yeah. And this way I alternate the grip types. After the next rest, I'm gonna go with the 10 millimeter Beastmaker edges again, where I use the half crimp grip. And this way I alternate my grip types through like 1 hour. Yeah, my goal is to achieve to be able to do this pattern for 1 hour, which is something that I still cannot do. On my first session, I lost power already after 15 minutes. On my second session, I lost power already after, I think, half an hour or 25 minutes or something like this. And on my last session, I actually was already at 45 minutes. So I could keep up the pattern for 45 minutes. And when I'm able to keep it up for 1 hour, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to add bonus weight. Yeah, I'm going to simply keep the strategy the same, but I'm going to add bonus weight. And then we're going to see where I will plateau there with this approach. And then we will hop back onto the assisted one armors and hopefully make the gains that we could not make before, because now we have set a different stimulus. We could kind of recover from the previous stuff and so on and so forth. Yeah, you know the deal. Gioso says, in the end, it'll only matter when you're climbing a limit. When you're climbing a limit anyway. I don't know what that is referred to, but Shoram says, what crash pad do you recommend as a first crash pad? I would recommend the Okun Incubator. This is an amazing crash pad. Also, obviously, the Black Diamond Mondo, the big signature crash pad from Black Diamond, which is the one I own, which is the one I use myself. This is an amazing crash pad. You can't really go wrong with that. One disadvantage maybe is that it's quite heavy. At least the previous versions of it were quite heavy. I think they've got new ones now, which are a little bit lighter. But the Incubator is has an amazing surface area, is very compact when you put it together, and is also quite significantly lighter, I think, than the Mondo. So this is really recommended. I've got an affiliate link, by the way, in my description for the Incubator. Yeah, this is an amazing crash pad. Can highly recommend. G also says, yeah, it was close to 5,000 euros, obviously. Really, I mean, this is a lot of money. What the hell? I mean, how much profit is involved here? I think it was in pounds rather than euros, though. Yeah, that would make sense. But I mean, that's crazy much, man. For a couple of steel framing and some wooden boards. And I mean, are the holes included? Holes and mats, you know, the padding down there, is it included? Because admittedly, you know, when I'm bouldering on my home wall, I use my mattress simply from the, you know, from our bed, essentially. My side of the bed essentially goes out. And I've got these mattresses as well, which I use normally for the caddy bro to sleep in the caddy bro. I've got them up in the flat now because outside it's cold anyway. and I put those onto the sleeping mattress that I've got in there. And this makes for an awesome falling area, right? I mean, I can fall completely uncontrolled there, and I have no bad results or something whatsoever. With the padding that they used, I mean, it looks quite shallow, right? The padding they used looked quite shallow, so I wouldn't want to fall completely uncontrolled onto this kind of padding. So I suppose if I would have to get this wall, I would need to put some additional protection down there anyway, which is costing some money as well, right? But yeah. We lovers, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Hey, bro. I know I've asked for this before. I'm making a video for International Barefoot Day where I ask streamers to show their feet. You've done it before, but I lost the video. Oh man, so you want to see my feet again or what? Come on, what kind of weird fetishist are you? Luckily, you are at the weird side of the internet, okay? So let's get it done. So first of all, I'm gonna show you my beautiful socks here. Yeah. Maybe that's even more helpful than anything, or more weird than anything. I don't know. Look at that. It's a good amount of callus actually right there, huh? I think that's from my climbing shoes. Well, probably it is. What else should it be from, right? Although I'm not wearing them a lot at the moment because again on the home wall I'm obviously barefoot bouldering, but yeah, so little climbing shoe encounter is enough to build up a significant layer of callus. You satisfied now, you lovers? You crazy bastard. Marcel Ed says, hey Manny, eine Frage, die du vermutlich schon oft gefragt wurdest. Mit welcher Art Holz hast du deine Homewall gebaut? Hast du OSB-Platten genommen oder Multiplex? Danke und weiter so. So here's someone asking me for what materials I used for building my home wall. Well, you could check out the building video of the home wall, obviously, but I can tell you right away it was Siebdruckplatten. In German, it's called a Siebdruckplatte. At least that's what it's called in Austria, right? Which is essentially, I think, laminated, schichtverleimte plates, schichtverleimte Holzplatten. Yeah. It's an 18 millimeter thick board, and one surface is completely smooth. Yeah, shiny smooth. This is amazing for climbing hard, as I've talked about previously, because you can dig super deep into all your holes. Yeah, so this is highly recommended. This is amazing material. I would have probably also have gotten really good results with 15 millimeters thickness. But I gotta say, in the end, I'm pretty happy that I took the 18 millimeters, because on some holes, the additional thickness of the flesh for your screws, because as you know, I'm only using screw-ons, is kind of helpful, you know, to screw on those holes really tightly. So yeah, that's the material that I used. Mike K says, for your info, Sweden is in the EU, but got crowns. Norway is in the Schengen zone, but not in the EU. Norway is not in the EU, but in the Schengen zone. That's interesting. I was not aware of that. And it's especially interesting because I was in Norway. I was in Norway. I would have expected to have, a different sort of experience when crossing the border then, which I did not have at all. I grew up in Stockholm, by the way. Cool. Stockholm. Did I meet Stockholm on my way up? I don't think so. Stockholm was one of the cities that I passed by, not really visited it. But yeah, thanks for the info, man. Thanks for the info. Definitely did not know that. We Lover says, so if you can do it one more time, would be appreciated. Yeah. You got your wish, man. You got your wish. JK is back on the stream. What's up? I think I'm gonna take a little sip of the live stream receptacle. Have I already shown you this hold here? It was part of a parcel that I got sent by a hold maker in Austria. And this is a beautiful climbing hold. I mean, look at this. This is just beautiful, right? And it even has a hole for T-nuts, which I don't use. But you can also screw it on here and here and here. The problem is, although it's super beautiful, I don't really know what I should do with it because it's kind of weird to hold. It's got an edge here, right? It's got an edge here, as you can see. Here it is super slopey, but we've got still the bark of the tree there. This is yew wood, by the way. So this is actually super precious, precious wood there. Wherever he got that from, because yew is actually an endangered species as far as I know, and wood is really expensive. Yew wood is really expensive. They use it for bow making and stuff like that, right? Still not sure what I'm gonna use it for. I think I'm gonna sand this part here off a little more and this part here off. And when I mount it vertical like this, then I've got a gaston on one side and an undercling on the other side, something along these lines. And then there is gonna be a side pull edge. We will see. JK says, "Hi Manny, in terms of finger strength, I should be able to climb 8B, yet my hardest route was 7C. How do you know that you should be able to climb 8B? I often use 2 hard betas. Well, obviously, because you're making 8Bs out of your 7Cs, as it seems. How can I get rid of it besides climbing more outside and just practicing? Well, that's hard, man. That's actually one of the tough challenges of being very strong, is that you not always get stuck in 2 hard betas. But try an 8B. Well, the 8B, you will be only able to climb with the right beta then, right? If you say you have the strength for 8B. Then try an 8B and get schooled by an 8B. Let the 8B show you how to climb this grade. And once you get that done, you will be able to distinguish a 7C from an 8B, right? This is one way. Apart from that, man, it's experience, yeah? It's experience, having a lot of experience with the routes, getting a feeling for the grade ladder will give you the ability to distinguish grades more accurately, and it will give you the ability to say, no, this is not 7C, this is already 8A. What I'm doing is probably wrong. And instead of just pushing through the wrong beta, you will look for something else and you will probably find it. And this way save a lot of time probably, yeah, and energy. So maybe you can try something else then. So this ability is actually something really important because it saves you a lot of time and frustration potentially. And in the end, it will get you more sense in, because with this time you can project something else, right? You can project a real 8B maybe instead. So it's highly recommended, of course, to have this ability, although I know it is hard to get because it takes a lot of experience and a lot of mileage. But yeah, I would recommend you check out real 8B routes and get schooled on what 8B really feels like, and then you will be able to distinguish it from easier routes more easily. And Jordan Heller says, around 2 months ago, I got a pulley strain. I never felt pain, but there was a small bump on my A2 pulley. It never hurts, but when I crimp, the bump reappears. Yeah, this sounds like this syndrome, what it's called. Sometimes you get these little lumps, on your tendons and stuff. I think in German it's called a Springerfinger or something like that. A snapping finger is when you actually have a lump on your tendon, and when you pull the tendon through a pulley, which is kind of a tight, a tight bottleneck, so to say, and the lump needs to pass through this pulley, then it's getting snapped. Yeah, you snap it through, and then you have this kind of snappy finger like this. I don't know if it's that or if it's something completely else. Yeah, I don't know. It could also maybe be a lump of this kind of sort, which you sometimes get on your wrists, which is, I think, fluid from the joint area that is protruding outside or something like that. It also has a special name, and doctors like to treat it by sucking the fluid out, but it often doesn't help. The fluid just simply flows in again, and yeah, goes away with time, or it also stays and you have it for the rest of your life, maybe, who knows. If it's not bothering you super much, then I wouldn't be too worried about it. Should I stop climbing when it happens, or just take it easy for a couple of days? What's your suggestion? My suggestion is always stay below pain threshold. Okay, stay below pain threshold. Keep climbing it away rather than resting it completely. Chili Chat says, I had that problem for a while. I just stopped hangboarding for 2 weeks and also crimps, then it was fine. For me, it was more of an overuse injury. There you have it. Yeah, might work. By the way, have you heard about what's happening in Leonidio? Panjica versus the municipality. Check it out. Here's a link to an open letter. Holy crap, what's going on there? What's going on there? I mean, when I was there for the last time, I already had the impression that something might be in the bush, so to say. Where you just, I'm not seeing any link or something. Could you post the link again? It might be the possibility that you can't post link into the chat, which is unfortunate. Yeah, but maybe I can just simply look it up myself. Open letter Panjica Leonidio. Let's see. Open letter to the climbing community, Panjica. What's going on? December 2020. Yeah, login. Facebook wants me to make an account. Of course not. Thank you very much. Why we feel we need to explain a few things at this moment. Last summer, the municipality of South Canada announced plans to create a set of rules for climbing Leonidio in collaboration with RST. Aristopoulos is that, I suppose, including the publication of a new guidebook. Oh, so there's guidebook drama apparently. In light of these events, we, the Panjica Cooperative, would like to take this opportunity to share some insight into this situation. Okay, so let's see. What is their insight? Our motivation. Since we started, our purpose, infrastructure for climbing and other creative activities that allows locals and people from all over the world to enjoy the exceptional rock in Leonidio, while also respecting the local community, preserving nature, and promoting an open and honest conversation between climbers, bolters, and the local people. We have made every effort to keep the area safe, to develop crags at a high standard, to reduce the danger of accidents. Our obstacles. Ever since we started developing Leonidio as a climbing destination, communication with the municipality has not been easy, mainly because the approach and the values they pursue are very different from those at the heart of the Panjica Cooperative. The main aim of the municipality and the developers they support is to drive tourism. When it comes to bolting, this means favoring quality over quantity over quality, which includes bolting an entire sector without testing or properly cleaning the routes, overgrading, grid bolting, chipping holes, etc. However, while we share the wish to make Leonidio more accessible to visitors, this approach fails to take into account any concerns about sustainability, our impact on nature, climbing, and tradition. Leonidio is already such an attractive climbing destination with so much incredible quality rock. There is space for all types of climbers to enjoy what it has to offer, and no need to grid bolt and overgrade to make it more appealing. This is very true. Why we publish our guidebooks in the first place? We never received financial support from the municipality, so publishing a guidebook would provide us with the financial independence to continue developing Leonidio in accordance with our values and ethics. Our vision was to create a climbing destination that did not follow the model of commercial tourism. All the profits from our first Panjica guidebook were used to pay for the local infrastructure, bolting, and maintenance. Panjica and friends have contributed to the bolting with some 7 routes, financing around 53,000 euros worth of equipment. Much of this has been generated through the sales of our 2 guidebooks, and some 10,000 euros came out of our own members' pockets. Not to mention the endless volunteer hours we have committed to bolting, cleaning routes, collecting information, and supporting the local community via social projects. At no point in the process of the publication of their new guidebook, has the municipality approached us, sought cooperation or communication? Instead, they took the information that we have provided, meaning our time and our labor, in an unethical way, and used this information in the production of their own guidebook, of their own book, they say. It is not our intention to claim ownership. We have always been open with the information we have because we believe it should be shared, and ultimately it will only benefit climbing in Leonidio. However, the municipality took advantage of this to benefit just one person, not the wider community. Ares's guidebook promises to provide just 20,000 euros of funding, despite having all the financial support from the municipality and a large part of the information already collected by us. We therefore ask all climbers coming to Leonidio to be aware of this situation before making a choice to support the new guidebook. Regarding cooperation. Okay, so this is the classical, holy crap, this is a long letter, man. I'm afraid I can't read it to the end now. But this is a classical guidebook drama, yeah? This is a classical guidebook drama. From what I know is that, there is also this other guy, this Aris Theopolopoulos guy, yeah? I don't know the full name now, but something along these lines. And he actually took some info from the Leonidio guidebook and published it in one of his own guidebooks. And these guidebooks are more broad, they show a more broader thing in climbing in Greece, showing multiple spots. And obviously this is a bit, from a competition point of view, it's a bit unfair, yeah, because by doing these big guidebooks, you kind of centralize the info about climbing areas, and thereby take the profit away from the actual area, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if you buy the local, this is what you should always do. If you're a climbing tourist out there, you should strive to buy only the most local as possible climbing books out there. Even if they are maybe a little bit less quality, maybe they don't have the beautiful drone pictures and everything, which the guys from Leonidio, by the way, they had it, yeah. So there's no question about it. They make amazing guidebooks, in my opinion. They made amazing guidebooks. But there's also these small areas out there where you have maybe there is one local guy, and he bolts all the routes and projects them and whatnot. And he has this little guidebook with his work essentially, and then you should buy only that. Yeah, you should buy only that. You support the local dude who also checks whether the routes are still intact, right? Checks the gear from time to time and stuff like that. This way, the money ends up at the people where it belongs. Yeah. If you buy the central big guidebooks, you're just supporting someone who wants to make as much profit as possible by just simply comprising as many areas as possible, right? I don't know the full story of this conflict, though. Yeah, this is just what I know is, you could call this a guidebook drama. Yeah, this is something that is gonna be more and more of an issue as climbing tourism continues. So be aware. Yeah, vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet, I should say. Already when I was there last year, I kind of heard rumors that someone, I don't know, some sort of dude got into the Panchika community and was trying to leach out information or something because they wanted to have it for their own guidebook and stuff like that. Crazy stuff like that, man. This is always the problem once profitability enters anything, right? If something becomes profitable, you also get these people which are just interested in money. Chili chat, is it a reoccurring issue or did you just heal it? KGB says, hey Manny, when you hang dog a route for a second go, what's your process? Check critical moves a few times as you go up, or quickly go up to have a brief idea, and work critical ones as you lower down. Depends on the route, man. Depends on the route. Obviously, if I want to make it second to go, I want to be damn sure that I can get all the single moves done. So I try all the single moves until I have those done. If there is a significant power endurance sequence before the crux, which I know I have to get done properly to be able to perform in the crux as good as I can, then I will have to check this one out as well. Yeah. Maybe there's a tricky top out or stuff like that where I know I can get a heartbreaker, then I check this one out as well. So you just check out critical sequences of the climb, and then you add everything together. This takes a lot of experience and mileage, I think. And then you try to anticipate which moves will feel hard when you come from the ground. Not necessarily now that you're sitting in the harness and everything, brushing all the holes. Well, then it's obviously some things are a lot easier than they actually are when you come from the ground. Some things, though, are easier actually when you come from the ground. And this is something that you can anticipate as well. Yeah, some things are just easier when you come from the ground and you take the flow from the ground, take the momentum from the ground into your climb. And this is something that you can anticipate as well with if you have a lot of experience like that. Yeah. This is really all I can say. It depends on the route. I don't have any fixed direction that I say, okay, I just lower down, and as I'm lowering down, I check out the route. Usually I do an on-site attempt, and then I fall, and then I check the rest. And if it was a complex sequence to the point where I fell, and I know it's not 100% guaranteed that I'm going to execute it that well again, yeah, because often during on-site you have a surprisingly good attempt, then I lower down again and check these sequences out as well. And only then afterwards I check out the upper part, see if I actually managed the crux in the on-site, if I read it correctly or not, trying some alternatives. And once I arrived at my conclusion, I come down and then do the second go. Yeah, but I don't have a blueprint or anything like that. It's really just going after experience. And Jordan Heller says the 5,000 pounds was with holes and mattresses. Okay, I think without them it was around 4,000. I mean, still a lot, yeah. But at least the holes and the mattresses are included then. Okay. Thanasis Chalas says, hey Manny, I was wondering why you haven't used plywood for your wall to save some bucks. Keep it up. I wanted to be damn sure that this stuff actually holds on. Yeah. I knew that with these plates, with these boards, it would work. Why did I know that? Because the Andromeda wall in the Fürstenfelder climbing gym, which is where I worked a lot of times and where I also posted the video of the building of the Andromeda wall, was made from the same material. Not quite as thick as these boards are. Yeah, I mean, these boards are not quite as thick as the ones in Fürstenfeld. In Fürstenfeld, we had 24 millimeter of these guys. Here they are only 18 millimeter. I suppose I can afford a thinner wood because it's not that big of a wall, and probably in Fürstenfeld we could have gone with the 18 millimeters as well. But of course, it's a different thing when you know government officials go there and then they check the wall for safety, whether everything holds up to the standards and everything. Yeah, I mean, here no government comes here and takes my wall and sees if it's up for the standards. So I can use my brain a little bit and calculate a little bit, and figuring out that probably 18 millimeters is enough as well. Yeah, and I mean, this is quite a lot of weight that I saved there by not using thicker ones, right? And also quite a lot of bucks that I saved there. But I didn't want to use plywood because plywood has this kind of grainy, it's very grainy, not as much stability. Yeah. This is just really solid stuff. And also it has this beautiful smooth surface, which I really love. This is one asset that I really love about the Andromeda wall, and I wanted to have it for my home wall as well. Yeah. So that's why I went for the Siebdruckplatten, and I don't regret it. It's amazing. Actually, maybe I could have used 15 millimeter instead of 18 millimeter as well. But in the end, it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of extra flash for screws, yeah, especially if you only use screw-ons like I do. We Lovers is there again with a question. Ooh, I think Mona is coming out again. She managed to calm down the little one again. Thanks for cooperating, bro. And frankly, these calluses are bad. You should treat them. No, they're not. They're just used. They're looking bad now because my feet are a little bit moist in those socks, and the calluses got a bit soft. But actually, they are not bad at all. But it would have been better if you showed the other foot as well, like both at the same time. It's okay, thanks, bro. Well, we could do that as well. If you don't mind the bad looking calluses. There is one foot fetishist in the chat today. So let's see here. Can you see these? This is actually from barefoot climbing. I didn't have these before I started with barefoot training, but due to the barefoot training, man, you get really strong calluses on your big toes. Actually, big toe becomes really, really active on barefoot training. Highly recommended. If you have a home wall or something like that, why even use climbing shoes on a home wall? Come on, it doesn't really make any sense at all. You just want to have the maximum training stimulus, and this actually, I think you have climbing barefooted because the big toes are much more active. I take a sip. Cheers. I must say I'm quite out of practice with the live streaming. My voice is already cracking again after 1 hour and 10 minutes. Gotta do this more often, my friends. Jens Saha says, hi, I did a lot of max hangs before December for a project. Sent it. Congrats, man. My first 8A. Wow, good job. I did about 158% on 20 millimeter. Both-handed, I guess. But trained in open hand. Should I keep going open or start with half crimps? My opinion when it comes to standard grip type for training is always the half crimp. Yeah? It's just because it is the most versatile grip type out there probably, and it carries over into any other grip type you can imagine. So I don't really see the purpose of when you train max strength to switch up grip types. It can be interesting to see which grip type is your strongest and which is the weakest and stuff like that. But when it comes to max strength training, I always train only the half crimp. However, when it comes to repeaters, as I said before, I alternate even in one session, even during the session, I alternate my 3 fingers open and my half crimp on quite bad holds. And the reason for that is that I have the feeling that I get a more homogeneous, widely distributed pump in my forearms if I do it that way. And this is what we want, right? When we are training repeaters, we want that kind of hypertrophy, lactic acid, hard pump in the forearms, and we want to have it anywhere. We want to have it throughout the whole muscles. We want to keep that stimulus up everywhere. Yeah? We want our muscles to grow essentially, and we want them to grow everywhere. So that's why I alternate grip types, because I feel it gives me a more homogeneous pump that way. Yeah. When I'm training repeaters, when I'm doing the max hangs, the assisted one-armers on the 15 millimeter edges, I'm only using the half crimp, because I just really wanna go to my limit, to my absolute limit there, and I feel that I can only achieve that, in a max strength session on a half crimp. Maybe I should alternate on a max hang approach as well. Yeah, who knows? But this is what's giving me amazing results. So this is my point, my take on that. Chili Chat says, Jordan Heller, it still comes back from time to time. It's just something I have to manage, but it only comes back when I'm climbing more than 6 days a week. This is the injury from before. Thanks, I guess I just need to not crimp for long sessions. Yeah, man. Take it easy, okay? Below pain threshold, yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. Shoram says, if you don't trust in climate change, I don't say I don't trust in climate change, or whether you can trust into something like that anyway. Do you still think that the human are the cause of the actual extinction of most of biodiversity? To comment on the first statement, if you don't trust in climate change is obvious. Climate is changing. Climate change has always been the case since Earth exists. Climate has been changing. To assume that the climate always stays the same is absurd. We go through periods. I mean, the sun is not always at the same distance from the Earth. As you know, we are not going in a perfect circle around the sun. We are more on an oval, egg-shape way around the sun, path around the sun. Sometimes we're closer, sometimes we're further away, sometimes it's warmer, sometimes it's colder. These periods seem to have a rhythm of around 20,000 years. Yeah, this is what we call ice ages, and then we have warm periods again. So climate is really changing all the time. The problem with climate change, as what we nowadays think of it, is that it is somehow written in stone that humans cause it all of a sudden now. Yeah. 50 years ago, people predicted a new ice age. Now people predicting that the world will be in flames in 10 years. 10 years ago, people predicted that the world will be in flames now. Meanwhile, we're having minus 24 degrees in freaking Eastern Tyrol and 2 meters of snow and a freaking snow chaos. Yeah. Nevertheless, it is quite eminent that glaciers getting smaller here in Europe, for example. Not everywhere in the world. There are some Greenland glaciers which are actually getting bigger. Yeah. So it depends on where you look at. It depends on local, microclimates and stuff like that, where you look at how the average temperature develops. There's periods in the Earth's history where CO2 was much higher and was colder. There's periods in the Earth's history where CO2 was lower and was much hotter. To cling that to the CO2, which admittedly seems to be going up quite steadily since the Industrial Revolution, which we caused as humans, obviously. But to cling that to that is quite a big stretch. I've said that before. And even if that was the case, we don't even know what's going on in the atmosphere as well. How big forests and all that kind of stuff influence the CO2 level, how they influence the methane level, how all these bacteria work together to reduce methane again, and how the oceans soak up everything, how the oceans, take care of all these gases. Then we have an algae bloom again, then we have a volcanic eruption on the other side again. How do you calculate all these things together? Yeah. And we see a lot of profit making with this story as well. And always when there is a lot of profit making, you should be critical instantly, okay? Because then there is a strong incentive to push this story forward. Yeah. So this is how much I'm going to say to climate change. Of course, the climate is changing, but whether we humans are causing that and whether it's going into the warm or into the cold direction, I wouldn't put my hand into the fire for that. Yeah, not at all. What we can say with full security is that the climate is changing, because the climate has been changing all the time. Biodiversity, look, probably we killed off some species on the planet. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I studied biology myself. There's a lot of species at the brink of extinction nowadays, and quite a lot of this has to do with deforestation, with pollution in the oceans and stuff like that. And obviously, I mean, if there's huge like trash islands in all of the bigger oceans on the world out there, this trash obviously comes from us humans, right? The plastic bags and all this kind of stuff. So there's no doubt about it that we have an influence on that. And this is actually probably the main problem of pollution nowadays, as we call it, just the direct pollution, yeah? That we change the constitution of the Earth's atmosphere, I don't know whether this has an impact on anything. But when we like mine into lithium mines, and this is these rare earths, these rare metals, which we try to get to the surface, and then we extract them and we purify them, and all the chemicals that are involved in that. I mean, there is lakes, toxic lakes somewhere in China, yeah, at all these sites where they get to these metals, yeah, which we of course like to have in our smartphones and in our laptops and whatnot. This is where true nature destruction takes place, probably. Yeah, this is what we should focus on much more. But of course, this is not going to get into the limelight, because there is a lot of people profiting from this as well, extremely much. Yeah, and by the way, also the green new energy is extremely dependent on these rare earths, and therefore electric cars and all this kind of stuff is extremely questionable. Yeah, it's extremely questionable, because you're exchanging one boogeyman, yeah, which is the oh no, fossil fuels, climate change boogeyman. You're taking it, you exchange it with another really serious, imminent, and obvious threat, which is the getting out of these rare earths, which is extremely pollutant in the local environments there. We don't see it because it happens somewhere in China, and therefore we don't care. Yeah, but this is hardcore stuff which is going on there, and China therefore has everybody else by the balls, which is also something interesting with this development. Yeah, because they sit on so much of this rare earth, they can of course pull all the industry from everywhere around the world, because of course we don't want to pollute our lakes, we don't want to pollute our forests and stuff like that. So you won't gonna find these mines here, but there you can do this kind of stuff. Yeah, you can do it for cheap, with cheap labor and stuff. Therefore, of course, our industries, exporting this cheap labor to somewhere else where you don't see it, where the customer doesn't see it. This is not covered in the media, of course, because this would be actually detrimental to profit making and stuff like that. But yeah, we all want to have our smartphones and laptops, and this is the stuff that's in there. Yeah, so this is really questionable stuff. This is probably what should be looked at instead, and which is much more dangerous. And China is very good at exporting this sort of behavior to different continents as well. Yeah, if you want to educate yourself on that, you can check up the basically colonization of Africa by China, which is going on as we speak. Yeah, so this is modern colonialism that we see here. Yeah, coal power plants popping out of the ground there. Yeah, as we speak. Does anybody talk about that in regards to climate change? I haven't heard about it so far, yeah, in the mainstream news. So you really have to see the whole picture. Just see the whole picture. And of course, in this process, we kill off a lot of animals. We kill off a lot of biodiversity on the planet, and this is very unfortunate. Yeah, this is very unfortunate. It should be prevented as much as possible. Yeah? But the truth is that it's not in our hands anymore, yeah? Because we exported this industry to somewhere else. We exported this cheap labor, and now we buy the products. We buy their products. If you wanted to really have an impact on that stuff, don't take the smartphone, yeah? Neglect the smartphone. I mean, just don't buy it. Just use one freaking phone for freaking 10 years like I do it. That's the way to go. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, I own a laptop as well, as you can see. So who am I to talk here? Apart from that, by the way, the ethics of preserving biodiversity and trying to cause as little harm to nature as possible thing. Yeah, there was a time when people were going out hunting and trying to show off that humanity is above all the other animals, and that we are really this king of the evolution, so to speak. We are the dominant species and stuff like that. They had a much more humanity against nature mindset. Nowadays, we have a much more humanity with nature mindset, but we have to be aware of the fact that the life standard and the luxuries that we enjoy nowadays comes from a period where it was humanity against nature, okay? Where we took resources without remorse and did whatever we wanted with them. Now, I'm not saying that's good or bad or anything. Good or bad doesn't exist in nature. In nature only exists survival of the fittest. Yeah. So I do understand both ethics. I understand the modern ethics because we don't want to ruin the diversity. It would be a much more boring planet to live in when we ruined all the diversity and all of a sudden are only humans running around anymore. Would be kind of boring. On the other hand, I also understand the other ethics that nature is brutal. You can look at it that way. Look what's happening if you don't care about your garden for a year. Yeah, the garden will be repopulated by nature super fast. You're gonna have small little trees popping out again. The brushes come back again. And sooner or later, if you let that garden thrive for 3-4 years, you won't recognize it anymore. It's going to be a new forest again. So nature is not going to give in so easily. Yeah? I'm not so worried about it. I'm not so worried about nature. We are also a part of nature, and we are, in that sense, kind of self-limiting at some point. Yeah. If we push it too far, nature is going to punish us for that anyway. Yeah, and that's the thing, really. There's these both ethics there. Average Climber says, I once checked out a route for the first time and did all the moves several times without coming down. After returning to the ground, I rested some minutes and red pointed the route. That sounds like a pretty normal climbing story. Good job. It feels wrong to say that I did it second go since I practiced everything several times. Well, it is still second go, man. It is still second go, even if you tried several things several times. That's why I always say, focus on your freaking second go. The most time is lost on the second go, because imagine you had not checked out everything properly and you failed your second go. Well, you would have needed a third go and maybe a fourth go. It's much more efficient to check out properly once you failed your onside and once you failed your flash, instead of making go after go after go, right? And this way lose even more time. Feels wrong to call it second go since I practiced everything several times. Is then there a limit to a go? No, that's the point. There is no limit to a go. Yeah. The limit to a go is when your belaying partner down there calls up and says, come on, bro, move your freaking to the ground. What the hell are you doing there? This is just insane. This is the limit of a go. Time or repetition of the crux, for example, no, not at all. Yeah, you can check out once you fail, you can check out as long as you want, as long as your climbing partner gives you time, which in conditions like these where it's super cold is probably pretty short. So you gotta be still somewhat strategic in your approach to check out routes. But once you're out there checking out, you can take your time and actually remember everything properly and then send it second go. Yeah, this is my opinion. There is no limit to a go. Emac4D says, do you do pinch repeaters or max hangs? No. Especially nowadays, I have such a pinchy wall here that I think I can get pretty good pinch training in by just simply climbing on my home wall. Yeah. The repeaters I do on the four fingers half crimp, on the 10 millimeter Beastmaker micro edges, and on the 3 fingers open grip on my 2 centimeter radius edge, which is just a perfect 2 centimeter rounding. Yeah. Shoram says, yeah, I should have said the responsibility of humans in climate change. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing that is questionable. Yeah. Benedict Pabinger says, thanks for answering my question, Manny. I really appreciate that. Also, I am also genuinely interested in Pickle Rick's question about your opinion on the vaccine. So now we're finally getting back to the vaccine question. Okay. So for that, I definitely have to get another sip from the live stream receptacle, bro. Ooh. Where should I start even, man? This is such a broad topic. We could again start from the nature perspectives stuff. Okay. So first of all, it's quite interesting that for me, okay, so let's say I would have no background in biology. I would have no idea about how vaccines work. I wouldn't know anything about any virus, diseases whatsoever. I would only know that normally for a vaccine, it takes 10 to 20 years, the approval process, right? The approval process takes 10 to 20 years to approve a vaccine to be able to be distributed onto the population. The reason why it takes 10 to 20 years is not because there is so much bureaucracy to overcome. It is so hard because there are so many people involved. You got to do so many studies. The studies, they have to be approved. You have to get funding, blah, 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 blah. No. It takes 10 to 20 years because you want to see the long-term effects of the vaccine, right? So this is why you do bigger studies with a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people, you follow through, you give them the vaccine. First of all, you see whether it's effective or not. Yeah, did you achieve the desired immunization, for example? And then you see the long-term effects. You see the long-term effects on immunization. You see late complications maybe with the disease. Yeah, maybe something that turns out to be immunizing in the first place turns out to be detrimental later on. Yeah, which was the case in the past. Okay, this is not the first time that this is happening. This happened in the past. So this is why it takes 10 to 20 years for a vaccine to be approved. Not because of the bureaucracy, which now supposedly has to be, it was super fast bypassed because this is an emergency situation, right? So, okay, you stepped into a time capsule and you flew 20 years into the future and saw that nothing bad happened and then came back and tell me that there is no long-term consequences. So even if I would just see this aspect as a completely normal dude without any background in population biology, medicine whatsoever, yeah, that alone would make me skeptic as hell, man. Would make me skeptic as hell. I mean, they couldn't have set it up more stupid in my opinion. Yeah? And then they are wondering why there's so many skeptics around. And just looking at that already makes you skeptic. Okay, so then we got that out of the way. The next point is that even if it was effective and if it was perfect, it was perfectly working, you would get immunized, blah, blah, blah. I've talked about this previously in another stream, but I am of the opinion that we should give our body the chance to take care of this himself. Yeah. Because it is a way of educating the immune system and so on and so forth. So the truth is that if this virus is really out there and it's killing people left, right, and center, the virus is already distributed. It's got its reservoir, and we will probably live with it until the end of time. Yeah, until humanity manages to kind of leave the physical realm and live only somewhere in a computer network anymore, or stuff like that. As long as we still have biological bodies and cells in which viruses can proliferate, we will live with this virus. So their solution is now, and since it's already, we see that it's obviously prone to mutating, we can assume that it's gonna mutate quite a couple of times, right? So we can also assume that it's not gonna end with this vaccine. We're gonna need a vaccine every year, like we do get it for the flu, right? Which is also very questionable. But yeah, anyway, different story. So that's now the end of it, or what? We need a vaccine every freaking year for this stuff now. I mean, apart from the fact that this is surprisingly practical for pharma industries who earn just insane amounts of money with this kind of stuff, why not let the body take care of it itself? Create the perfect immunological memory in itself. Yeah. I didn't get the flu or anything like that this year. I'm outdoors all the time. I do my stuff. My lifestyle hasn't significantly changed. My body is just simply adapted to this kind of stuff. Yeah, I didn't get vaccinated since probably 15 years or something. Yeah, when I was 15, I refused my first vaccine, which was against the ticks. Ticks. The ticks supposedly carry a disease sometimes, which is called borreliosis, I think. Maybe it's also called FSME. Okay, in German it's FSME. I have no idea, man. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Somewhat meningitis thing they contract, as it seems. I have ticks all the time, man. I have ticks all the freaking time. When I'm outdoor climbing, I get home, I have like 3 ticks on my body or something. Yeah, no problem. My body obviously handles it quite well. Yeah. By trying to desperately bypass the life's hard, okay? Life's hard. Life's rough. It's hard. Don't be such a freaking snowflake. Endure it. Take your chance, endure it, and now you're gonna say, yeah, what are you gonna tell the old people? The old people, they are much more prone to the disease. They're gonna die like the flies. Look, then protect the old people, but let free will still be on top of everything. Okay, people should have to voluntarily. They should be able to volunteer for this kind of thing. Yeah, there should be no propaganda to push the vaccine, which is definitely the case. Okay, they want to distribute it into the masses at the moment as fast as possible, as it seems. Yeah, because they realize that the skeptic crowd grows and grows faster and faster every day. So they want to distribute it now. Why? Why not let the people their free will? Yeah. It does not make sense on so many levels, and that's why I'm not a proponent of it. Yeah, I won't get vaccinated, and I hope that my family members also really be skeptic about it. Yeah, because we don't know what's the long-term consequences of this kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of points that I could talk about why it's not ideal. But yeah. Here you have it. Paul Töchterle says, what you say about the verification process of vaccine is not true, Manny. Okay. There is a really good talk by Florian Kammerer, who is an expert on this topic on YouTube. You're on thin ice here, buddy. I'm on thin ice. Yeah, I'm on thin ice in front of 20 people. Yeah, of course, I could not tell this on a mainstream outlet. If I would say this on a mainstream outlet, they would kick me out instantly. You're on the weird side of YouTube here, okay? This is my opinion, and you ask for my opinion, so you will get it. Yeah. For my common sense, I don't need to be an expert to and I would say I have a relatively educated opinion on not only that subject, but on a lot of subjects. Yeah, I know how the bunny runs, so to speak, in more subjects, and I can see the similarities. I can see the patterns again and again. This is yeah, it's a lot about profit making. Get educated or get medicated. Yeah, this is a really, really good and fitting and true saying. Yeah, take your health into your own hands. Take your health into your own hands. Don't believe that someone else is responsible for you to live to 100 or whatnot. Life is rough. Yeah, life is rough. It can be over every day. Make the best of it. Live in the now. Live in the moment. Yeah. I rather go by these values, and I would really appreciate it if it stays voluntary like that. Yeah, if people want to go down this route, then they should have the. It's only my damage then, right? It's only my damage. Okay, the stupid guy, vaccine skeptic, stupid guy doesn't get vaccinated, gets a super horrible disease, therefore, right? So it was his fault, right? It was his fault. Everybody gets what he deserves. Is it not that? Is it not that the case? Yeah, of course, we can talk about herd immunity and stuff like that. But yeah, everybody who wants to have protection should get vaccinated, and all the others don't. If the people who are protected, then they will have their herd immunity on their own anyway, then, right? So what's the problem? Why are they still afraid of the people that don't want to get vaccinated? They can't get the disease anymore anyway. They are vaccinated, right? So there is no need to vaccinate everybody like that, right? This is my opinion on the matter. Yeah, but it's a really interesting topic, and yeah, looking at this from a population dynamics point of view, how the people are split apart into pro-vaccine, anti-vaccine, pro-masks, anti-masks, pro-lockdown, anti-lockdown. It is just such a dividing topic, man. It's just this is the biggest problem of this whole thing. In fact, the dividedness of the people. Yeah, the dividedness of the people. Pickle Rick says, what about people with a weak immune system that can't be vaccinated? Look, I mean, this is just a whole nother subject, yeah? There's a lot of people with known reactions to vaccines, which is completely natural because what you get there is a bunch of preservatives and a bunch of other probably toxic stuff, yeah? Which your body supposedly should react to. It should react to. Of course, it does react to. You get inflammation, you get maybe a little bit of fever, yeah. You get systemic responses often. Even you also get anaphylactic shocks sometimes. Of course, the body reacts to it, yeah. But there is no known people who can't get vaccinated because they had such shocks in the past. And what are you gonna do with these people, right? They will always be a reservoir for the virus. They will have to deal with the real virus themselves as well. So yeah, there is a number of problems with this whole kind of approach. Yeah, we will see how it develops, man. In the end, we will see how it develops. So yeah, I think since we are on the bottom of the chat here for quite a long time, and we could talk about this very touchy subject as well, again, it becomes even more relevant as they are now distributing the vaccines already everywhere around the world, or almost everywhere around the world, right? Definitely here in Austria, the campaigns and everything started, yeah? So we're gonna see how it turns out, right? I hear you about not knowing the long-term effects of the vaccine, but so far we haven't found any. Well, yeah, 1 month in or something. But I also think that people should be able to choose if they get vaccinated. Absolutely. I mean, that's the number one thing, right? If they would not do that, they would be in real trouble anyway. Yeah, because people are always pretty cool with the stupid stuff that they do, as long as they can sit back and enjoy the show. Sit back and relax and enjoy the show. Yeah. Once they, though, really make a deep cut into their lifestyle, when a deep cut in their lifestyle becomes mandatory, I'm not sure whether people are willing to actually let them do that with them. And this is something that we see also more and more these days. People are fed up with it. People don't buy it anymore. I said this also in the previous live stream. You forgot the second comment, haha. I don't know what you mean with that. What's the second comment? Yeah, so anyway, but we know about the possible long-term effects of the virus and that it can also happen to young people. That's why I will get vaccinated. It's your choice. What I mean is, okay. But we possibly okay. From what I know is that young people are basically as much affected by this disease as the flu, or even less. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna eradicate the flu now? It's tough. It's tough. Okay, guys, I think my voice is really going downhill at the moment. I think it made for a quite okay first stream of 2020. I was a little bit nervous in the beginning, I'm not gonna lie, because if you get out of the flow with something like that, then picking it up again can be a little bit of a hurdle to take. But I'm quite glad that I did it. It was fun again. Also to revive some of the memories from 2020. That was really cool. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it as well. Drop a like on the stream if you did. Drop a comment if you want. I will try to timestamp it as soon as possible this time. I'm trying to be a little bit less slack on timestamping. Maybe in the next 1 or 2 days or something, the timestamps will be up. We will see. I'm also still working on the videos for next week on the main channel, that is. So I gotta do this as well. But anyway, my friends, so my girlfriend is a doctor working on the corona station right now. Can confirm it's wide than the flu, also for young people. Okay. Appreciate you, Manny. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for the interesting questions, Benedict. Very interesting. Thanks for answering. Yeah. You ask for my opinion, that's what you get. Yeah. 11 man. Okay. So yeah, next stream will be announced here as usual. Maybe next Sunday, maybe the Sunday after next Sunday. Still not so sure, because we will see how busy this weekend is gonna get. But have a good night, my friends. At least here it's night. Wherever you're watching, have a good day, have a good night, and I'll see you soon in the next one. Stay strong. Stay strong.